There's nothing quite like taunting in sports. It's a byproduct of competition, and when done right, it's amazing to witness. Today on the Touchback, we're going to look at one of the greatest sports taunting moments in history that you probably don't know about. Sports taunting can come to us in many different forms. One of my favorite moments was Stevie Johnson mocking Plexico Burress for shooting himself in the leg. We tend to attribute most modern day taunting to the University of Miami football team of the 80s. Those teams really knew how to rub salt into opponents' wounds. Those teams weren't afraid to beat you and then taunt you about how bad they were beating you. It all came to a head in the 1991 Cotton Bowl when Miami faced Texas. The Hurricanes committed 9 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in the Cotton Bowl that year, most of which were for excessive celebration. Perhaps the most notable taunting moment came when Randall Hill scored on this long touchdown pass, ran into the tunnel, and did the infamous cowboy gun salute to mock the Longhorns, who got totally reamed in that Cotton Bowl 46-3. It got so bad that the NCAA actually instituted a rule against excessive celebration. Perhaps most recently, the best taunting moment belongs to Aaron Jones, seen here waving to a Cowboys defender before finding the end zone. There's no doubt that these are all great taunts, but there is one moment in sports history as far as taunting is concerned that we are forgetting, and it belongs to this man, Kenny Wharton. You've probably never heard of Kenny Wharton, and for good reason. He was a very pedestrian left midfielder and left back for Newcastle United during the 1980s. Wharton played 10 seasons with Newcastle, scoring 26 goals, but highlights and even photos of his career remain scarce, highlighting the fact that he was a very average player. If you're looking for a US sports equivalent to who Wharton might be, he was sort of like Mark Lemke, the old Atlanta Braves second baseman. Both players were there and they had nice careers but did nothing memorable, and you probably haven't thought about it much since they retired. So you're probably wondering what Wharton did that was so memorable. Well, in an April 1988 game against Luton Town, Newcastle United were winning 4-0. Earlier in the season, Luton had defeated Newcastle by 4-0, so there was a sense of revenge for the team at this point. With the game in hand and a few minutes left to play, Newcastle was just dicking around, really trying to embarrass Luton at this point. This is where Kenny Wharton comes into play. As you'll see, he'll eventually get the ball, and we'll let the announcer passively aggressively describe the action.
And now United just toying with Luton, and perhaps that's a bit unnecessary.
A bit unnecessary? Tyreek Hill flashing a peace sign jetting into the end zone is a bit unnecessary. Sitting on a live ball during a game is a massive middle finger to the other team. The sheer audacity of this move is just off the charts. Most people wouldn't have the fortitude to pull something like this off while 4-0 up in a game of FIFA, and here Kenny Wharton is doing it in a real live game. It's amazing. Now, let's go back to Wharton sitting on the ball for a second, because there's a small detail I want you to pick up. As you can see here, he sits, and then he rests his head on his arm before getting up. That is brilliant stuff. And I know a lot of you are saying, oh, soccer, it's soft, but soccer in England during the 1980s was no joke. It was a bunch of angry Brits and hooligans in the stands. This is what makes Kenny Wharton sitting on the ball one of the best taunting moments in sporting history. He knew there was going to be hell to pay for sitting on the ball. He knew at some point someone was going to come at him and come at him hard, and he did it anyway. There you have it, the story of Kenny Wharton, perhaps one of the true godfathers of taunting in sports. For more great content, be sure to visit thetouchback.com, and as always, take it out to the 25.